This is not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video, despite the smoke coming from the streets. This is a video where we can now advance our coverage of the Switch 2 reveal, because the Switch 2 reveal is happening this Thursday. And there's been a lot said about the Switch 2 reveal, about how it's going to go, how it's not going to go. Our best guess, our best assumption, is that it would go a lot like something Nintendo has done before and recently, the Switch 1 reveal trailer. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you're pumped for Thursday and the reveal of the Switch 2. Nate Drake, Nate the Hate, and others that corroborated the January 16th reveal said that the emphasis will be on hardware and not software/games. I made a video earlier today where I expressed my fear that it's going to be much more similar to the hardware overview trailer than it is this reveal trailer, but I'm going to set that aside for a second. A lot of people do think it's going to be similar to the Switch 1 reveal trailer and not that hardware overview trailer, so I wanted to go through and compare how this will be different for Switch 2. What will be included in the Switch 2 version, what games will be there, where they'll emphasize different aspects of the new console, and how it's going to just like basically one-to-one compare. Will we have a street with busy smoke? I don't know. Things have changed a lot in the 7.5 years since the Switch 1, and I think the emphasis on certain genres, the emphasis on certain features has definitely been modified, updated, and marketing will reflect that. So let's go through this. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the trailer will be like, what games you think we're going to see, if we're going to have more of a reveal trailer like this, or if it's going to be more of a hardware trailer, kind of like I'm worried about. But we start off and we just have some scenes. We can have any scenes. Nintendo can show us nighttime, daytime. Maybe they'll invert it. Maybe it'll be people waking up. They'll throw Alarmo in there, right? They're going to wake up with Alarmo. Now, this is a dude playing Breath of the Wild. Now, this is very interesting to me because it's the first shot of the trailer that, you know, is Nintendo-ified in any way. But at this point in the game, Breath of the Wild had already been revealed, right? Breath of the Wild had been shown off for the Wii U, and then we found out, oh, it's coming to Switch. It's a cross-gen title. We'd already seen this game. This wasn't like some big brand spanking new, like, huge reveal. The only thing we have along those lines, and my faux pas of saying it earlier, is Metroid Prime 4. Could this be someone playing Metroid Prime 4? If we were going to compare it, and if we were going to go one-to-one, this would be a shot of someone playing Metroid Prime 4. But Metroid Prime 4 hasn't really been seen by anyone playing, so it's not exactly one-to-one, but that's like the best comparison. So someone's playing Metroid Prime 4 on the new Switch 2. They're seeing that they can play it on the TV as well as handheld. And that's obvious, like, okay, now we know what a hybrid console is, and I do think Nintendo's emphasis will be far less on the hybrid nature, but I still think they're going to hammer that home to let people know, hey, our brand new system does this too. Our brand new system has this same feature that you loved, and you have to remember that the average consumer doesn't really watch YouTube videos about video games, doesn't listen to podcasts about video games, etc. So they will emphasize, hey, it's got hybrid nature, Samus is going to be shooting some fools, and then maybe it's a cat meowing, and we're going to get the animation. A lot of people assume that the animation is going to be a side-to-side horizontal animation, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Versus the vertical animation sliding down, it's going to be a shoop, snapping on or magnetizing on with a 2 there. It's also possible that we just go straight into the console itself, like glory shots of the system and not this preamble of like someone in their house, their dog, you know, barking and they're playing Breath of the Wild. It's just the console. And then if there are any games, it comes later. Now, this is something I hope that we do not have much of, which is the grip. I think the grip was a fun, cool idea when we weren't sure about hybrid consoles, when we didn't really know how the Joy-Con would be. But I think in practice, the grip is like not great. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how many of you play with the grip? The grip is going to have to be notably bigger because the Joy-Con are notably bigger. So how are they going to do this? I kind of wouldn't even mind if they didn't include a grip. Like, I think there's a chance that they just sort of ditch the grip and they could sell it to you separately or not include it. A lot of Switch 1 marketing, though, does have the Joy-Con on the grip. But remember, these are magnetic and not slide, so the slide on the grip was very important to sort of the whole branding of the system. Maybe it doesn't matter as much this time around. I think it's 50-50 if we get a grip or not. No one's mentioned a grip. This shot can obviously be the same of the Switch in the dock and then taking the Switch with you. They will, I'm sure, at least once hammer that point again. But this opening thing is all just about kind of like playing this game that we've already seen. Can it be anything else besides Metroid Prime 4? Like, could they use Tears of the Kingdom? They could, but I think Nintendo, at least early on, is going to stay away from games that do have, like, upgraded versions or upgraded performance on Switch 2 to really confirm that it is a separate console, a sequel console, and it's not the same darn system. So I don't expect us to see a game that has released on the Switch 1 yet. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is fair game because it's not out. Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, anything like that, they won't show it. All right, so now we're going to switch. This guy is playing still more Breath of the Wild. That's like honestly the first 45 seconds of this trailer. A single good look at a game with the system. Now we go to the airport and we're going to see more of that sort of on-the-go functionality. The game card goes in. We could see a new game card. A lot of people are saying it's going to have a notch or something on it to distinguish the game card. What are they playing here? Do we even see what they're playing? I don't believe that we do. Do we see what they're playing on the airplane? We see the kickstand, and they can just do the exact same thing here. They can show the much better, superior kickstand that's not going to be wobbly, because let me tell you, this thing has fallen over if there's any turbulence. I tried it. My Switch on a plane video, I tried it. A headphone jack is a funny thing to really emphasize. I don't think that's going to be emphasized this time around, especially since Nintendo has tried to work to improve like their Bluetooth and things like that. Not going to see a headphone jack be sort of like the focal point here. Now, this is interesting because the next game we see is a third-party title, and it's Skyrim. Now, this is interesting because it's an important game. It's a big game that wasn't on a Nintendo platform, but it's an older game. And it's showcasing, hey, the Switch can run these big, awesome games that you've seen elsewhere. The closest correlation we have to that now is based on the leak from Nate Drake that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be releasing on Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025. Now, Final Fantasy VII Remake is an older game, and maybe they do opt to show Rebirth instead, but I think that duo of games is the best, like, hey, this clearly wasn't on the last Switch, but now it's on the new Switch. I thought about Monster Hunter Wilds in this slot, but A, Monster Hunter Wilds is not out, and B, Monster Hunter Rise was on Nintendo Switch and was very popular and looked pretty darn good. Final Fantasy, though, would look significantly, I think, better than anything did on the Switch 1, and that's a franchise that people know, like, oh, that's a big PlayStation franchise. So getting Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth footage here in place of Oblivion kind of, I think, or Skyrim, kind of fills the same role, right? Like that, I think I've been calling it Oblivion the whole week, forgive me. It's Skyrim. So we'll see him playing Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth, and then getting in the car, it's still more footage, just again showcasing that this can be used anywhere. I don't think they're going to have as many distinct locations. In fact, I think the trailer could A, be shorter, or B, just highlight more about the system. If they're going to go with this kind of a trailer where it does show it in like out in the world, as opposed to just a hardware overview over like a, like a computer animated white screen and just like manipulating the Switch graphically. If they're going to go with this like real world, hey, people have this system and here's how they do it, I don't think the emphasis is on play it anywhere. I think the emphasis will be on how is it different. So in these shots, you're seeing a lot of Breath of the Wild and a lot of Skyrim, but you're also seeing like, wow, this Switch can be played anywhere. That's so cool. They're really conveying that. I do think they convey that a little bit again, but here you might see things like, oh, them using the Joy-Con, and then it might say like improved no drift Joy-Con, or well, they probably wouldn't say that, improved Hall effect Joy-Con. You might see them taking advantage of the screen and like maybe it comes up on the screen like larger, 8-inch screen. You might see the Joy-Con magnetize on and some like graphic that kind of emphasizes like, oh, the magnet's sucking it on. Just things that kind of help highlight why this system is different, why it's better. The bigger kickstand and the better kickstand might get a bit more play than it did here on his drop-down airplane table. After he lands, obviously he plays a little more Skyrim, and then they go back home and they put the system in and pick up the Pro Controller. So this would be our chance to see the new and improved Pro Controller, which should have a similar orange and blue control color scheme. Will it have extra buttons? We know it'll have the C button almost assuredly, but will it have paddles in the back? That's been a heavy rumor about the Pro Controller 2.0, and I'd love for that to happen. I don't think it's necessary though. Nintendo could just improve the sticks a little bit, add that C button in there, change up the way it looks. I don't know that we're going to go with the exact same, like, oh, the middle panel is always this like black color, and then the handles are the things that could be a different color. Like maybe Nintendo will mix it up to really emphasize this is Pro Controller 2, not just a new version of Pro Controller 1, although maybe they won't. There is a chance that Nintendo just keeps the Pro Controller the same and sells you, hey, now it's got the C button and now it's got different colorways. They didn't really mess with colorways. They messed with limited editions and special editions in the Switch 1 era. They could just do colorways and a C button and sell this as a brand new Pro Controller. And it's something like Nintendo could do, they would do. It's not out of the realm of possibility that it's just the same basic controller with minor differences. Hopefully there's more. Hopefully they do upgrade it, but they could just do this. And it's interesting because we have that Walmart shot of while supplies last on a box of current Pro Controllers, implying that they are going to be removing Pro Controller 1 from the marketplace and just replacing with Pro Controller 2. Maybe Pro Controller 2 is improved, but there is a part of me that thinks if it's just a replacement and not selling it side by side, then there won't be improvements, because why would Nintendo give you more features for the same amount of money? He picks up the Pro Controller and then turns on the TV to show Skyrim yet again. I don't think Final Fantasy VII would get this much emphasis. Skyrim is getting a lot also because it does show well. It's got dragons, it's got first-person bow and arrow, first-person magic. They had like motion controls, right? Some different things that the Switch took advantage of. But this is where maybe another third-party game would come in. Later on in this trailer, you're going to see NBA 2K. We'll get there in a moment. I don't think sports games have as much of a pull as they do now. I think sports games are far less valued than they were even 7.5 years ago, and I think we will see a different third-party title there. But in this Mario Kart slot, could very well be Mario Kart. If Nintendo does want to give us at least a glimpse of something, remember, Nate Drake and people have said, oh, you know, the emphasis is completely on the hardware, there's hardly any games, then I wouldn't expect any new first-party games from Nintendo. But if it's, maybe if they're exaggerating, maybe if they don't know fully, if we are going to see games, this would just be Mario Kart 9, and that would be sick. That would be, honestly, here it was like, okay, whatever, this is Mario Kart 8. If we were a Wii U loyal fan, like waiting for the Switch before it became really popular and really the cool thing to get, it's like, okay, we've seen this game before, this wasn't really a big moment, but Mario Kart 9 would be the biggest moment of the trailer. So this is a spot where they could really like drop the beat and hit us with Mario Kart 9, which might be like a second version of Double Dash. It might be something completely different. It might involve digging carts. We'll have to see. I don't think anything like this segment will be in here. This sort of sports head-to-head multiplayer. I think multiplayer could be in there, as we'll see in this segment and the upcoming Splatoon 2 segment, and I don't really know where they'll go with multiplayer. Maybe this will kind of be more Mario Kart 9 slot, like this multiplayer emphasis will be maybe be more this, or I think Monster Hunter Wilds does have a chance to show up here as a game that Nintendo would really want to help push with Capcom. We know Capcom loves Nintendo, loves the Switch. There could be sort of a cooperative, raid going on, or a battle with different monsters with multiple people playing on the same system, or well, in this case, it would be two different systems, right? Or they could decide to here showcase the Joy-Con being used with their new, bigger SLSR buttons, the Joy-Con with their bigger form factor, the Joy-Con with their new lights and their new, colored interior connectors. And maybe they would want to showcase something else from a third party. I think I just don't know that sports have that much pull. This could easily be Fortnite. This could be Call of Duty. Call of Duty would probably be a really big thing. I don't know that Nintendo is ready to show Call of Duty if Activision is going to, make sure that they house that for themselves. Another option here, if Microsoft wants to really show this is an Xbox, just like everything is an Xbox according to them, maybe we see Halo Master Chief Collection here. Wouldn't that be absolutely massive? It would show Microsoft is really in bed with Nintendo. It would get people very excited to buy and give some money to Xbox, even if it's not on their actual Xbox console. And it would be a huge hype piece to show like this console has it all. It wouldn't be revealing unseen gameplay footage. It wouldn't be revealing unseen games. It would be keeping Nintendo first-party titles to a minimum. This, to me, is the Monster Hunter Wilds, Call of Duty, that type of slot. Or I think it's got to be a third-party game. I think it's something that it could be Fortnite, honestly. It really could be Fortnite. It could be something that is just very culturally relevant. I don't think it's going to be Madden. I don't think it's going to be NBA again. I just feel like those games have dropped. They're still very popular, but I feel like they've dropped in popularity since this, and it wouldn't be as much of a big deal because Nintendo has had this on their Switch already. NBA 2K has been on their Switch. Call of Duty would be a pretty big thing. Fortnite's already been there as well, but people just are crazy for the free-to-play online multiplayer stuff, and if you did want to show multiplayer in some fashion, or maybe you show the Joy-Con working their magic, I think that's kind of how it's going to go. All right, so from here, we should be moving to the Splatoon 2 segment. That's what's next, right? These guys are all having fun. You're going to get a lot of smiles, a lot of actors really oh, no, this is the Mario Odyssey segment first. Okay, so this could very easily be a 3D Mario segment, but we're hearing so much about Nintendo not diving into games, not diving into the software lineup. I can't imagine that we would see multiple huge new first-party games, let alone the two huge first-party games we're waiting for. Mario Kart and Mario, 3D Mario, are the games we're waiting for. So what could this be instead? Could this be Nintendo's more family title that is their 1-2 Switch equivalent, their Snipper Clips equivalent, their game that is going to be sort of their family appeal party title, and you could showcase either multiplayer or single player in that nature? I don't think we're going to see like, oh, it's going to be Link and it's going to be Samus and it's going to be Mario and it's going to be like, I don't think you're going to get everything from Nintendo. I think they're going to be very careful, and I think they have way less need to show heavy hitters here than they did last time. Remember, at this point, Nintendo is really down bad. They've got the Wii U. Nobody's buying it. It sucked for a while now in terms of sales and dollars, and they really need to win you over. So they're going to show Mario Kart. They're going to show 3D Mario that they never showed before. They're going to show Breath of the Wild, right? They're going to show Splatoon. They're going to really try to emphasize everything that they can. These goofy segments with people, even though we're 7.5 years later, I think they still could absolutely factor in. I think Nintendo, with like the happy people making their lives better with Switch, could factor in. I would love to see Animal Crossing in this spot, as I think it is the current best game that helps emphasize a united world playing Nintendo Switch. But the odds of us getting Mario Kart, seeing cool third-party games, and then also getting a glimpse of the next Animal Crossing, based on what we've heard, is very slim. It would be amazing. It would be a humongous marketing note, but I don't think it's something Nintendo will do. And you might be asking, well, what about Animal Crossing New Horizons? What about Smash Bros. Ultimate? What about games that came out before? But I firmly believe Nintendo is going to stay away from Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 in their official marketing. Maybe they'll discuss them or show upgrades in a direct or in a big software presentation. In the official reveal trailer, they're going to keep it very distinct so people know this is a Switch 2. This is not the Switch 1 or an upgraded Switch 1. This is a separate new console. Nintendo is going to be very careful and cautious with that, I promise you. I don't think we'll see a single Switch 1 game in this presentation, except for maybe Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, but that has not come out yet. This could also be a slot for Pokemon Legends ZA. Again, people are saying hardly any games, but if I'm just thinking one-to-one, it's either Mario or it's Pokemon. In terms of like, if we're going to just say like, oh, they're going to do the exact same thing. She calls to her friends. They're on the rooftop. They're saying, come play it. She brings it with her. I don't think this is the emphasis. Instead, maybe at this point, there is something about the graphical capabilities. Maybe they do zoom in. Maybe they are emphasizing 4K with the dock. Maybe there's a bit more focus on the dock and what the dock can do and how the dock actually improves the play. You'll notice that so much of this trailer is tabletop and handheld and not a ton of docked. I think that docked will get a bigger piece of the puzzle, piece of the pie, in the Switch 2 reveal trailer, because docked is going to be more important, and based on what we know, docked is going to provide a superior experience, whereas it doesn't really do that with the Switch 1. I don't think we're going to see anything of Splatoon, and we talked earlier about like a big multiplayer game that Nintendo could show off. Mario Kart is probably that from them. Elsewise, Call of Duty, Halo Master Chief Collection. They could show Halo multiplayer as well. You know, that might work out nicely. They could show Monster Hunter Wilds multiplayer. I think Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be a day one title on Switch, so I would, like, on my bingo board, I'm picking Monster Hunter Wilds before I'm picking Call of Duty. No Splatoon, though. I don't think we see that yet. Some nice shots of the controllers. Goofy things that they think are fun, of people enjoying life together, playing together, sharing the system maybe. I was going to say, like, using their old accessories, but again, I think in their official marketing, especially early on, they're going to keep things so separate. Do I think there's backwards compatibility? Yes. Do I think that there's, well, they've confirmed backwards compatibility. Do I think that there's going to be, you know, accessory backwards compatibility? Yes. I don't think that they're going to emphasize or even show that, because it breeds market confusion. That's the last glimpse that we get, and then this is the coming March 7th, 2017. I hope we do get this. I hope we do get this month. I hope Thursday we see coming March or April 2025. I hope that's what we get. The rumor right now is May or June. That's supposedly what VGC has heard. That's supposedly what Nate the Hate, has heard. I hope that it is different. I hope that it is not May or June. That's still 4 or 5 months away, which feels, I mean, it's far. It's half a year, basically. April or May would make a lot more sense. I do think there's a chance that they don't put a month on it. They say coming 2025, and then they reveal the actual date at their software presentation to add even more oomph to the software presentation. Because at this point, we know Breath of the Wild is going to be on the Switch, right? We know that Mario Kart is going to be on the Switch. We know that Elder Scrolls Skyrim is going to be on the Switch. We know that NBA 2K is going to be on the Switch. We know that a new 3D Mario of some sort is going to be on the Switch. We know that Splatoon of some sort is going to be on the Switch. If they're not emphasizing the games, the release, I think, is less valuable to reveal. You're not going to be able to pre-order games. If the only game they show is like Mario Kart 9 or nothing or no game, I don't know that we get an exact date. Here, they didn't even give us an exact date. They gave us, they gave us this, where is it? They gave us March 2017, just the month. I mean, I'd love to see just the month even. They could do that again, or they could say like coming spring 2025, because that would encapsulate basically any of the times we've said they could release. Like that's March through September, right? They can put it out in any of those months then and cover that. My guess would be we don't get a specific date. Maybe we get a month like this, but there's a chance, especially if they don't show hardly any games, that we don't even get that. It just says coming 2025 or coming spring, because they will leverage that software showcase as sort of the big hardcore moment, and this is just the awareness moment. Now, the awareness moment last time was in October, and the release was in March, which is 5 months. So if we were going to say they're following the exact same cadence, then it would be January to June, which to me is silly and too far, and Nintendo has expedited cycles, and the industry in general has expedited cycles till then. And what the heck is Nintendo going to do for another 5 months? They've got Donkey Kong releasing on Thursday. They've got Xenoblade Chronicles X in March. Are they going to have an April game? Are they going to have a May game? Are they going to dump out Metroid Prime 4 Beyond before the Switch 2? Keep their promise that it's a Switch 1 title, and then, oh yeah, it just plays better on the Switch 2? All that we'll have to wait and see. I'm still leaning more hardware trailer, but now you know if we were to go through this and we were to see this very similar style trailer, what it would be. A Metroid Prime 4 segment to kick things off. Hopefully the Mario Kart 9 would be the big ta-da moment. You'd see some third-party support from titles like Monster Hunter Wilds, Halo Master Chief Collection, or Call of Duty, in addition to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth / Remake. Those would be the games I think that Nintendo would choose to emphasize. We've heard leaks about other titles like Tekken 8. I don't think Nintendo would emphasize that here. I don't think that is wide of appeal. I think Final Fantasy is very well known, and people are like, woo. Call of Duty is also very well known, though, so that's one. And Halo is also very well known. So any of those games that sort of help identify that Nintendo is bridging to even more audiences, that the Switch 2 is going to allow even more exposure to more types of games and genres, I think is very important what to go for. But if you ask me to put my money on it, I would say they're going to go for more of a hardware overview type trailer based on what we've heard. I hope it's wrong. I hope we get something cool as this. I hope it reveals a bunch of games. I hope we get a glimpse of Mario Kart. I hope we get a glimpse of 3D Mario. I hope we get a glimpse of something we can't even place. Like, how cool would it be if instead of Splatoon 2, there's a segment where we see some game and we're like, we don't even know what this is. It's like very Nintendo-esque, but we don't know who the characters are. We don't recognize the gameplay. It's a different genre. It's a different look. It's a different world. That would be sick. At the end of the day, the games are going to be the most exciting part. And they might hold that back from us on Thursday. We'll have to wait and see that. Let me know what your take is. This is a long, deep dive into this trailer. Fingers crossed. It's going to be exciting. We'll share it together the moment, and we'll review it. We'll talk about it. We'll analyze it, and we'll obsess over it. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. SwitchForce out.